Hey yo, what's good everybody? Happy Monday. Man, it seemed like it was a long time ago since I saw you guys, but it was just a week ago. But nonetheless, man, we're here at week 6. Day 1, it's Monday. What? April 20, I don't even know, 28th, 27th? I don't know. Anyway, let's dive right into it, man. Negative numbers. We're going to start out. Section 1 is negative numbers, and then section 2 is going to be statements of inequalities. So hopefully you guys use the video to kind of figure things out, but we're going to jump right into this with this first problem, which says negative 17, minus 6 plus negative 9 minus the opposite of 5. All right, so we got that. So here we see that we have the same sign. So remember the rule when we have the same sign is we add and keep the sign, right? So this is like 17 plus 6, and that's going to give us 24. No, 17 and 6 is 23. So we're going to have negative 23 plus negative 9. And then right here, remember what we did the last time, this is the opposite of the opposite right here. So that's just going to be plus 5. So second line looks like that. Now we have negative 23 and 9, and that's going to give us 32. But we keep the negative, add and keep the sign, plus 5. Right, and then, oops, I wrote 33, it's 32. 32, and then that's going to be negative 27. Negative 27. All right, so we have to remember, just like we do, as I read from left to right, we're just going to go to the left, and then this is the opposite of the opposite, which makes it plus, okay? So if you get stuck on that, you just remember that, all right? So number 2. Number 2, I'm going to rewrite it as negative 12 minus the opposite of negative, or 6, minus 4, minus the opposite of 15. Okay, now we just rewrite it. Negative 12, opposite of the opposite is always going to be plus, minus 4, opposite of the opposite again is plus 15. Right? So now we have negative 12 and 6 is going to give us negative 6. We subtract. When we see something like this, we subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. That's why we take 12, take away 6 is negative 6. Minus 4 plus 15. Okay, so right here we have a situation where the signs are the same. Even though this says negative 6 minus 4, it's still negative 6 and minus 4. So on the same side of the number line, we add and keep the sign. That's going to be negative 10 plus 15. Now we have different signs. Different signs means we do what again? Hopefully you guys said subtract. And we subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is positive 15. So that's going to be 5. All right, there we go. All right, number 3. Number 3, looks like we have some little parentheses and brackets here. So let's go ahead and write that out. So we have bracket 3 plus 5 minus 11 times 5 minus 9. All right, and so remember our rules for our PEMDAS, our BIMDAS, whatever you want to call it, the bracket rules, right? So we have this 5 minus 11. That's going to be, the signs are different, so we subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So that's going to be minus 6 plus 3, right? Then bring everything else down. And it's important to bring everything else down. That way we don't just do this right here, make this 5 minus 4, and that'll give us negative 4. We have to stay with the, as I read from left to right. So inside of the brackets, we have 3 plus a negative 6, and that's going to give us a negative 3, because the signs are different. So we have to keep the sign, subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Bring everything else down, times 5 minus 9. Now as I read from left to right, I see negative 3 times 5. You know our rule is we have one negative and we're multiplying, so negative times a positive is always a negative. So that's going to be negative 15 minus 9, right? And just like we did in our other problems where we had the same sign, we add and keep the sign, and that's going to be 15 and 9 is 24, so negative 24. All right, there we go. Moving right along, you guys. All right. And again, you can stop the video, pause it, think about whatever you need to do to get the question correct. Again, I appreciate those of us that are doing it more than once if you don't get them all, because the more you do it, the more your brain retains it. All right, so we are on number 4 now. And it says brackets 5 plus 1 times 4 minus 8 division. Oh, I need to close the brackets. Okay, I'll do that. Make sure that's closed before we end. So I think it was closed here. And then 9 minus 6. All right. So 5 plus 1 is 6 times, and then 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Division symbol, 9 minus 6. All right. And so 6 times a negative 4 is going to be negative 24. Division symbol, 9 minus 6 is 3. And now we know that when we divide, just like when we multiply, we divide and we get the same thing. Negative 24 divided by 3 is going to be negative 8, because we have one division symbol, so that means we have to keep it, right? Negative divided by a positive is always a negative, just like a negative times a positive is always a negative. All right, so let me go ahead and put this division symbol, this bracket right here. Make sure we do that. All right, so now got that squared away, family. We are moving on to the other section here where it says statements of inequalities. Right here, statements of inequalities. An inequality compares two values showing if one is less than, greater than, or simply not equal to another value. Okay, so we have all of this, what this means, and so we're going to be using these symbols, the greater than and less than symbols, and these right here is equal to. So you have greater than, less than, or greater than, or equal to at the same time. All right, so I want you to take a look at that information, make sure you read it, watch the little video so it can help you out. All right, now let's move right along to number 5. According to what you just learned regarding inequalities, is the statement true or false? So when we take a look at it, it's 8 is greater than symbol than 3, or false, 8 is less than symbol than 3. So obviously that's going to be true. 8 is greater than 3. So that's going to be true. 8 is greater than 3. All right, number 7. Oops. Wait, do we have a number 5? I'm sorry, what am I doing here? That was number 6. We need number 5. So this is number 6. Sorry about that, guys. Number 6. This is number 6. Number 5 is, according to what you just learned regarding inequalities, is the statement true or false? 5 is less than 2. That is false, because 5 is obviously greater than 2. Okay? 5 is greater than 2. And if you remember, if you watched the video, it said the point is always going to point towards a smaller number, right? So just keep that in mind. If you get confused about the symbols, just think about which one it's pointing to and which one it's open towards. And that'll remind you of which one is greater than or less than, all right? So we have number 7 now. Number 7, and it says negative 2 is less than negative 7. All right. So according to what you just learned, think about a number line, whatever you need to do to write this out. But this says -2 is less than -7. Remember, this is the less than symbol because the point is pointing towards a smaller number. The bigger part is open towards a larger number. But in this case, the correct response should be that it is false, because if you think about a number line, any number closer to 0 that is a negative number is always going to be the larger number. So just remember that the larger the negative number, the smaller it actually is. Okay, so that is that should be false. -2 is not less than -7. It is actually greater. All right. All right, number 8. Number 8. Here's a true statement. -8 7/10 is less than -8 4/10. Select all of the statements that are equivalent to -8 7/10 is less than -8 4/10. Okay, so the statements that are true that we're going to look at, that we're going to just see, right, as we read all of these, is going to be, so this is number 8. Number 8. -8.7 is further to the left of the number line than -8.4. So remember, if we're thinking about a number line, the further away from 0 on the left-hand side, right, means that that number is a lot smaller than the ones closer to 0. So that would be, so B is accurate. C, -8 7/10 is less than -8 4/10. That is true because it's to the left, so it's less than, so that's correct. And then look at D, -8 7/10 is greater than -8 4/10. Well, we just said it was less than, so that can't be right. -8 4/10 is less than -8 7/10. Well, that is not right because, again, it's to the right. And then -8 4/10 is greater than -8 7/10. That is correct as well. So, and then we looked at A, -8 7/10 is further to the right. Nope, it's not. It's to the left. So the correct answers are B, C, and F. B, C, and F. All right. Moving right along here. Oh, poop. Okay. So we have to use the symbols here to determine which ones go with what. Okay, so it looks like the first one is going to be 12 blank 19. So number 9, 12 blank 19. So that should be which symbol? Should be that symbol, right? So 12 is less than 19. And then 15 blank 15. So 15 blank 15. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not 15, that's 1.5. So 15 is greater than 1 5/10. 15 is greater than 1 5/10. And then the next one is 6 and 5/100. Blank 6 and 5/100. So when we think about this, remember we talked about this a long time ago, that any number after this doesn't matter. So we just look at where it ends there, it ends there, and those numbers are both the same. So that should be the equal sign. That should be the equal sign. And the last one is 9 and 2/100 blank 9 and 2/10. So remember, when we go this way, as we read numbers, that means it gets smaller. So this is like saying you have $9.02 versus $9.20, and so that should be, oops, wrong way. It should be this way. Okay. All right. So there are those numbers or questions for number 9. Now number 10, the last one, guys. Last one for today. Then I will see you Thursday, but see you all on our Zoom meetings tomorrow. All right, number 10 says, think about what you know about solving this problem. 4 x plus 24 inequality is greater than 48. So remember we did this and everybody was kind of getting confused because, you know, you had to, I was saying, do the opposite on both sides and all that kind of stuff. This is the same exact thing. It's just an inequality symbol and not an equal sign. Okay, it's the same exact thing. So just like what we know that we have to subtract 24 from both sides. So then we have 48 minus 24 because we still want to get the variable by itself, just like we did before. Okay, so that's going to give us 4 and then 2. So let's just rewrite it where it's a little cleaner down here. So we're going to have 4x is greater than 24. Okay, so now just like this, what we would do right here, we would do the same thing, except this is not an equal sign, so we still want to divide by 4 on both sides to get the variable of x by itself. And then 4 fits into 24 6 times. So this is saying that any number that would be x would be greater than 6. Okay, and I think in a couple of days we're going to talk about this and how we do it on a number line. All right, so yeah, so your final answer should be x is greater than 6. Okay, all right, so that's it for this one, man. You know, you guys are doing a great job again, focusing on your work and staying active Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so yeah, man, I look forward to seeing you guys online. But until then, you know, have a good time and enjoy yourself. Take care. See you soon.